briefly, I'll tell you what's happening in India. It's very shameful, where all they do is lip work. All they do is, the leaders of the Muslim country do lip work. That's all they do. Because they are worried about their chair, about their wealth, about their status, about their crowns. That's all they worry about. It's all lip work. So, as Muslims, we have a responsibility. Inshallah, we'll try and see what we can learn. Last night, I talked about the hikmah of Muhammad Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, words of wisdom. What wisdom? He is the one and only source of wisdom for everybody. You accept it, you're a Muslim. You deny it, you're a kafir. You say something with your tongue, something in your heart, you're a munafiq. So, I'll tell you a hadith. It is reported. Reliable sources. It is in a book called Al-Mahasin. And in that, it is reported that, and it is reported from Muhammad bin Khalid al-Barki, a reliable book, another hadith, on the authority of, and this is Nabi Muhammad conveying to his Sahabi, to his trusted ones. He says, one day Jibreel came to me and said, "O Prophet of Allah," Jibreel now is a communicator link, came and said, look, he said, I have come to award you, O Muhammad, a gift which had never been granted to anyone. Jibreel has come from Arsh, Allah Azza wa Jal. He got the message, he's coming down, came down to Muhammad and said, "O Muhammad, your Rabb has sent a gift that no one has received before." We're fortunate to even know what was the gift that Allah sent to Jibreel, because it's for our best, it's for our learning. So Rasulullah asked Jibreel, what is that gift, ya Jibreel? And this is where I feel I need to learn. He says, the very first gift is as-sabr. As-sabr, 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 as-sabr. If you look at the ayahs of the Quran, verses of the Quran, look at the lives of every prophet, every imam. That means they had sabr and they also had yaqeen. That means they have ikhlas with sabr. If you have sabr with no ikhlas, then it's emptiness. So, first thing that he gifted for all of us is patience. It's not, I'm trying to understand myself. What does he mean by sabr? Because without sabr, you cannot go to paradise. You cannot. Allah is going to test your sabr every step of the way. If you look at the Quran, it says, I'm going to test each one of you. And each test is different. Everybody's test is different. If you look at all the stories of Qasas al-Anbiya, Ibrahim was tested differently. Izibtala Ibrahim Rabbu wa tammahun. I tested Ibrahim. Before I gave him, you are my friend. Before, that means every step of the way Allah is training us, every one of us, according to the gift He has given us. First gift, He says, we have sabr or not. And tell you that, frankly, I don't know what it means in practice. I may fail 10 times a day or more because I have not understood what patience means. And it happens all the time. 2 days ago, I lost my temper. Why? Because I'm a human being. Maybe my blood pressure was up and cholesterol was up, whatever it was. How do we understand sabr? It's not easy. It's not easy. Go and look at Abu Abdullah Hussein's life. Go and look at every Imam's life. Imam Musa Kazim's life. He was there, nothing, praying and praying and praying in prison. Every Imam showing us a way to how to do sabr. So now, Rasul, when he heard this word from Jibreel, that patience is a gift of Allah, he says, yeah, Jibreel, what is better than sabr? What is better than sabr? Sabr of ahsan is what? He says, al-qina'a, content. I cannot be patient when my children are suffering, when I'm suffering. When I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, they're hungry, how can I enter qina'a? Sabr and qina'a go together. Contentment for whatever He is giving you. Yes, you can work better, you can work better, you can work better, but every step you take with sabr and qina'a. But you must do your best. And He will show you the way. He will show you the way, provided you are listening to Him. We are not. I am not listening to Him. I'm not understanding His message. First, sabr. Better than that is qina'a. So now Jibreel asked again, "O Jibreel," Rasulullah asked Jibreel, "O Jibreel," so he said, "Qina'a is better than sabr. What is better than qina'a?" He says, "Az-zuhd, abstinence." Allahu Akbar. I mean, I feel that I'm starting to start a preschool of Islam, Academy of Ahlul Bayt, as-sabr, al-qina'a, az-zuhd. And I'll talk a little bit about zuhd. Each one of these is its own dimension. Each one. If you look in the Quran, all these words have been described perfectly. Quran is perfect, we are imperfect. Rasul is perfect, we are imperfect. And this is where we have to go and look in their lives, how they dealt with things. There are so many things from the Prophet Muhammad's life, Ahlul Bayt's life, Imam's life, Rasul Anbiya's life that we can learn from. Zuhd is the number 3. So now Rasul asked, what is better than zuhd? Zuhd ahsan min. What is better than zuhd? He said, ikhlas. As-sabr. Al-qina'a. Az-zuhd. Al-ikhlas. My God, these are the stages to taqwa. If you get the understanding of that, you're going into the ladder of taqwa. Ikhlas. What is ikhlas? For the last 2-3 months, I'm looking at this word ikhlas from the Quran. Just one word, ikhlas. It has been used about 10 different ways. Ikhlas. I just looked at the word ikhlas in the Quran, different variations. There's 10 different variations. That by itself is a very detailed subject. Each one of these is like a tree opening up. Each one. As-sabr, al-qina'a, zuhd, al-ikhlas. So now Rasul asked Jibreel, what is better than ikhlas? It's yaqeen. That certainty, when you get to that point, your heart has believed in monotheism, ahad. Look at the Bilal. No matter what happens, people did to him, he said, ahad, 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 ahad. He has certainty in his heart. Each one of us has to learn these stages. Each one of us, as-sabr, al-qina'a, az-zuhd, al-ikhlas, al-yaqeen. Then he asked, what is better than yaqeen, O Jibreel? He said, Rida, Ridwanullahi akbar. Rida, Rida Rabb. Ridwanullahi akbar. Dhalika huwa al-fawzul azim. Radiya Rabb. When you get to yaqeen, you do everything. You get up for the sake of Allah. You sit for the sake of Allah. You eat, you drink, you're 24/7, you do to please Him. And that's what Quran says, Ridwanullahi akbar. Dhalika huwa al-fawzul azim. If you can achieve that part after yaqeen, you are in a class on your own. Okay. So we start again, as-sabr, al-qina'a, az-zuhd, al-ikhlas, al-yaqeen, 5, al-rida, 6. And then he asked, O Jibreel, what is better than all these qualities? He says, tawakkal ala Allah. When you have reached these ingredients, that means you have now reached the point that you live nothing but tawakkal ala Allah, tawakkal ala Allah, tawakkal ala Allah. Inna salati wa nusuki wa muhyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alamin. Jibreel has given this gift, starting with as-sabr, al-qina'a, al-zuhd, al-ikhlas, al-yaqeen, al-rida, and then tawakkal. We start with tawakkul, we forget the 6 stages. Start with sabr. Sabr is not what we define. Sabr is what is defined in the Quran. Sabr is defined by Ibrahim Khalil, by Musa, by Isa. All these Nabiya and Mursaleen have defined sabr. And Imam Ali said something very beautiful. Give me a salawat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
As-sabr ala wahid allamat quwwat al-aql. When you persevere with patience that there is only Allah between you and nothing else, then you are on the plains of Karbala. You are with Amir al-Mu'min Ali. When you have reached that point where you feel that you have closed the gap between your existence with your Rabb, that becomes the work. That means now every aspect of your life reflects his zikr. Then he said, then he asked, Rasul asked Ibrahim, patience. He said, Ibrahim, explain patience. Being patient during the time of hardship as you are during a time of self-sufficiency. I failed there. As soon as the difficulties come, my iman begins to shake. I'm doing everything right. Ya Allah, I pray, I pay khums, I fast, I read Quran, and yet you're putting me into difficulties, Ya Allah. What kind of difficulties? Anything. Job. Look at Sabr Ayyub, Sabr Yaqub, Sabr Jameel. That means we must have patience and difficulties, and Allah will put difficulties for us. Different ways. He'll say, I'll test you with awlad, with wives, with mal. You just name it, He has listed all these things. I'm going to test you. Am I ready for it? No, because I don't know what it is. Unless I begin to understand what it means, I wouldn't know. Patience in the time of difficulties as in the time of affliction. Being patient during time of calamities as you are during times of health. And not complaining to God when calamities descend upon you. We start to complain. Allah fixes our problem, we turn back. Then He tries again, then we turn back. He's constantly doing tarbiyah. It is our tarbiyah. Our lives are for testing in this world. No human being has been created without a test for that human being, according to that individual's capacity. Allah knows us better than we know ourselves. I often think that, I know so much. No, Allah knows me better. Allah knows me better. So if I go to Him and explain to me, but I'm not ready for it. So that patience. Then he says, what does qana'a mean? A content person does not get angry with his master, whether or not he gets access to worldly goods and is not pleased with his own minimal efforts. That's qana'a. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. And if you look at the lives of the Anbiya Mursaleen, Aymal Athar, they were content. They were content. There was a story about that I was saying, before reaching Karbala, there was a man who came up to him and said, Ya Aba Abdullah, I know where you're going and there's trouble there. There's a big trouble. Yazid is not going to leave you. Ibn Ziyad is not going to leave you. So he said, what do you want me to do? He said, I have a horse. That's the best horse in the country. It's the fastest horse known for speed. So what are you going to do? He said, take this horse and run away. The one smiled. He says, no, thank you very much for your offer. But I have a suggestion for you. What? He says, when you hear my call from Karbala and you don't come, get on this horse and get as far away as you can so that you don't hear my voice. Because if you hear my voice and not come from my head, you will burn in hell. And this is the call today. Okay, then Prophet asked, O Jibreel, what is abstinence? Zuhud. Lacking what your Creator likes and hating what your Creator hates. What is it? Last night I talked about pearls of wisdom from Rasulullah. I am measuring everything with my limited, nonsensical mind. Allah said, no, don't do that. The difference between Ayub and his wife was that Ayub was a masoom, his wife was not masoom to that level. She couldn't bear the pain of her husband. So Iblis goes to her and says, look, just disobey. So what is this? He goes, Allah, 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 Allah. This is the way he's suffering. Just do this and get it over. Even that little thing Ayub didn't accept. That littlest thing of disobedience he did not accept in the test that he had. From the children, from the wealth, from his health. You just name it, yet he just said, he remained loyal. He said, for 70 years I enjoyed his blessings, now can I not bear this? He understood. Giving is his, taking is his. You have to be content. Both. He gives to test you, he takes away to test you. Sallallahu
على محمد وآل محمد.
After Zuhar Ikhlas, inshallah, if time permits, you can go look at this word Ikhlas. I'm dazzled. When I look at the Quran, quotations of the Rasulullah and Masumeen or Ikhlas, I feel I'm just joining Islam. I feel. When you look at this Ikhlas, what does it mean? Ikhlas. Oh, I'm pure, I just took my bath, I cut my nails, combed my hair, did my dunya, and did Talawat al-Quran. Is that Ikhlas? No. Ikhlas is beyond that. Ikhlas is a state of your mind, a state of your qalb. What state your qalb is in, that's where the Ikhlas lies. If Ikhlas does not have nothing other than Allah in your heart, it's very difficult. Extremely difficult, because we live in a world. Everything else is crowding us. And that's the test. That is the test. Okay, so one who is sincere will not ask for anything from the people, and he struggles to obtain it himself, and is content with it once he obtains it. These are the words of Rasulullah from an authentic hadith. Ikhlas. Whoever gives charity for God's pleasure has indeed reached a level of trust in his Lord. Rasul's life was such that he never denied anybody. He'll give away food. Abu Bakr gave water to her and his animals. I always think of my house, my thing, mine. I'm not out of the mind. I'm living in mine, although he is the one he is giving. Look at the story of Fir'aun and Qarun. Fir'aun, Allah said, I gave him so much of wealth. But what he did, he became proud. He said, I own these palaces, I own these rivers, I own these fields, I own. Allah said, okay, I'm going to take it from you, Fir'aun. He became arrogant because Allah gave him so much. Qarun, he got so much of wealth. Allah said in the Quran, I gave him so much of wealth that you keep it under lock. There were keys many men have to carry. I gave Fir'aun the power to become high. I gave Qarun the wealth to become the richest person, and he became proud. Allah doesn't like. He's testing. So I'm in $1 million lottery. Suddenly, a million. If a zero goes down, I'm afraid. Another zero gone, I'm sick. Third zero, I'm dead. Am I passing a test? No. How do we comply with the testing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Read. You'll find everything there in the Quran. Then he says, oh Jibreel, what is yaqeen? Whoever has attained certitude performs his deed for the sake of God, just as if he sees God. If not, then God sees you. And it's very difficult. Very, very difficult. Because during the course of a day, it's normal for all human beings to get carried away. Well, it's not time to pray. We feel that time to pray and time to do other things are just different. No. Are you away from Allah during non-praying time? Then that's a problem. Is any time you are away from Allah or Allah is away from you? we do it. Allah said, I'll meet you. Nahnu aqrabu ilayhi min hablil warid. He's walking, talking with everybody as human being. Okay. Then he says, Ridwanullahi akbar and tawakkal go hand in hand. These are the things that were offered to Nabi Muhammad. And I urge myself, as-sabr, al-qina'a, al-zuhd, al-ikhlas, al-yaqeen, Ridwanullahi akbar, radiya rabb, tawakkal. You combine them, you become muttaqi. If you make them secondary, not knowing, then you're giving not importance to the most heaviest things. Heaviest things. I find myself involved, and unless I get to remind myself again and again and again and again that real life is not this. Real life is not this. Real life is this. This is only Darul Imtihan. So I send you لِيَبْلُكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. I'm going to test you, see the quality you have. And if you don't stand up to the quality, well, you get F. The better you do, the better your grades become. You want the 4.0 GPA, that's supposed to be a big accomplishment, that's good. Alhamdulillah. Because academic, what you do with it is what you're going to do. If that takes you from Allah, from Ubudiyya, then it's useless. It has no meaning. Because Allah is the one who gifted you the aql, the means. Everything in your life is controlled by Him. He's allowing you, like children. Go. You want to go in this direction, go. But He has stops. There are, yellow lights before red light comes on. But I passed the yellow light, suddenly I got hit by a wall and said, Ya Allah, what are you doing this for? I did not see the yellow light. There are yellow lights for all of us. He's not going to leave us alone. He said, just call me. Just call me, I'm there with you. I like to read a story that is Salam Alaikum. Salawat ala Muhammad Ali.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
How there was a professor, and his story really touched me. In his class, he looked at his own class, and one day he comes in the class, he has a jar, empty jar. You know, one of those mayonnaise jar, there's nothing there, empty jar. He puts the jar on the table, and he's got 3 bags with him. An empty jar, 3 bags with him. He opened, and as the students settle down, he opens one bag, and from that bag, there are rocks in there, 2-inch hard rocks. First bag, empty jar. He puts the rocks in there, and of course 2-inch rocks in there. As it fills up, he shows it. He said, what do you see? He said, oh, it's full. Okay, it's full. Then what he does is he opens up the second bag. 2-inch bars are there in the jar. Opens up the second bag. It has pebbles, much smaller than the rocks. He pours, because there's still space between the rocks. He puts all the pebbles in there. There was room between the rocks. So now pebbles fill up the rest of the space. He asks, what is this now? He says, it's full. Full of rocks, full of pebbles. At the end, the third bag he opens up, it has dust. Grains, dust. Rocks, pebbles. The thorn is dust. There's still room for the dust. He throws it in. Let us find this way inside. So now you have rocks, pebbles, and dust. He looks at it, he said, what do you see? He says, it's full. Jar is full. First it was full with rock, second full of pebbles, now it's full of sand, dust. Then he says, if you had put the sand in the jar first, it will not allow pebbles and the rocks to any space. If you put sand, the sand will fill up the jar. There's no space for rocks and for pebbles. And if you do the same thing the other way around, that if you go with the pebbles, again, the space is going to be limited. So the whole idea was that if you spend, this reflects your life, everybody's life. I want young people to pay attention. This is your life. This jar is your life. Rocks, pebbles, and sand. What are the rocks? Pay attention. If you spend all your time, if this is your jar, this is your life, my life. My jar is my life. If I fill my life with sand, which is small stuff, I will never get to the pebbles and the rocks, which are more important for my faith. Because I have filled my life with sand completely. There is no space for pebbles and the rocks. All small things. Mowing the lawn, washing machine is not working, something is happening, this is happening, this is happening. This is grain, this is just sand. If you fill your life with sand only, there's no space in your life. And we lose. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Play with your children. Enjoy with your partner. You don't have time. Go do your thing. Go take a tablet. We have become mechanized. We've become sort of tools in the hands of the sand, and we've filled ourselves up. Okay, prayer time comes, I pray, and then in between prayer, it's all sand. It's all sand in there. There's no reflection. I have not reflected to the reality of life. And the only way you can do it is through Quran and Ahlul Bayt. How did they fill up their life? Go to them. There will always be time to go to work, clean the house, give a dinner party, and fix the whatever you need to fix. But doing all the work, don't forget, those rocks are your fundamentals of your deen. They are, your rocks are the fundamentals of your deen. Pebbles are support of that deen. And then comes all the rest of the work. But what we do is reverse the order. We fill our lives with the sand, and then there is no room left for the pebbles and the rocks. Take care of the rocks first. The thing that really matters, set your priority, the rest is just sand. And that's the life we live in. Salawat ala Muhammad ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asr. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. The intimacy in the Quran, intimacy, closeness, can come from hope. Described as hope. The intensity of your, after all those 7 stages, your inside, your heart should yearn for love of Allah. Allahumma narzuqni hubbak wa hubb. This is a dua from Sayyid Kashani's book on Rasulullah. Oh Allah, grant me love for your love. Pay attention now. All the love for mother, father, wife, husband, children, the possessions you have, the car waiting outside for me. These are all possessions. They are all temporary. They are all tests. The real test is if I love these things more than Allah, then I'm failing the test. I'm failing the test. Because He's the giver, one and only giver, and He said, "Here, I give you a toy." Just like we think that we give our children a toy on their birthday or on Eid, Allah is gifting us 365 and 24 hours a day. And yet, we fail. So, first is, grant me love for your love. There are 7 attributes according to Quran that Allah loves. Learn them all. Allah says, I love this, 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 I love this. Allahu yuhibbu tawwabin. Repentance. Repentance is not that I miss my prayer. Yeah, okay, that's a repentance. Repentance is not knowing hudud Allah, the Sharia. I have not learned that properly. If I have not learned rules, how can I go to the school and the academy? I get a big F. This is not my rule. This is his rule. First quality, Allah yuhibbu tawwabin. What does tawwab means? To return to Him. Just like when we are afraid as young, even now, we seek companionship when we are afraid, when we are lonely. Allah yuhibbu tawwabin. Allah yuhibbu mutahharin. But purity of jism is okay, but purity of the heart. How pure is your heart? And those are the 7 stages that you have to go through to purify your heart. Allahu yuhibbu tawwabin. Allahu yuhibbu mutatahharin. Allahu yuhibbu muhsinin. Each one is described very detailed in the Quran. What is ihsan? I don't know. According to Quran. My definition will never come anywhere close to the Quran. Always seek the answer from the Quran. Always. That's what Imam Ali said. Stay with the Quran. Whatever you don't know, it will answer you. Or it will not give you. If you don't deserve it, it will not give you. It's the final perfect teacher for all of us that you must accept. So now he's saying, grant me love. So now, okay, let me go back again. Allahu yuhibbul tawwabin. Allahu yuhibbul mutahharin. Allahu yuhibbul muhsinin. Allahu yuhibbul muqsitin. Allahu yuhibbul muttaqin. These are Allah is defining simple. Do you know what tawbah means, tahara means, ihsan means, this means? No, I don't. How can I love or seek Allah's love without? It's like going to a school and Allah said, here, take. You want my favor? I'll tell you how you can love me and I'll love you back. If you are tawabin, mutaharin, muhsinin, sabirin, muqsitin, muttaqin, I'll love you. But I don't know these words. I'm in dark. I have to go to Quran. Each word is defined. There is no such thing that is not defined in the Quran. Okay, so grant me love for your love and love for those whom you love. Allah. I love many things that are not appropriate. But Allah says only those things I love, you must love. That's part of the iman. And Allah is giving you definition. Are you tawabin? Are you mutahharin? Are you muhsinin? Are you sabirin? Are you mutakarin? Are you muqsitin? Are you muttaqin? Take any one of these words and start using that as your soap to cleanse your heart. Number 3, and love for that which draws me closer to you. What would draw? Allah doesn't need us. Allah doesn't need anything from us. Do you think Allah needs our prayers? No. He's ghani. Antum al-fuqara. You are the needy. If I stop the air, you will die in 3 minutes. Stop giving you water, you'll die in a few days. Stop giving you food, you're dead. I'm giving you all these things again and again, and I keep you alive. So come to me, come to me, come to me, come to me. And then in the end he says, and make your love more beloved to me than cold water. When you're very thirsty, my God, I see how you enjoy the cold water. Your nafs, your ruh, your cells, so to speak. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. I'm going to finish here with one little thing that I heard, very well-known scholar. He said, Nabi Shu'aib alayhi salam, he would go into sajda and he'll cry all night. And Quran says that there are servants of mine who go into sajda crying. They go down into sajda crying. He'll go into sajda, cry so much that he loses eyesight. That's nothing. Allah restored the eye. Next night, you do the same thing. Go into the sajda and cry, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la. All night prayer, he loses his eyesight, Allah will restore it next day. It happened 7 days, Allah kept restoring. Then he says, Shoaib, what is it you want? You pray all night, you lose your eyesight, and then I restore it, and you do the same thing over and over and over again. What is it you want? Tell me. Oh, yeah, I just want to cry to you. This is it. I just want to cry to you when I go in sajda to you. That is the sajda of a prophet. And that is the sajda what Abdullah Hussain did on the sands of Karbala. Radan biqadai tasliman bihamd. That was ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم اللهم اني اسالك بحق محمد ال محمد عليك صل على محمد وعلى محمد واجعل النور في بصري